derived from the Greek words for once and government, which can be rendered as one's government. A monarchy is a political system in which the ruler or head of state is a king. Monarchy is a country controlled by one rule and one person who has inherited power. Outsider cannot take the power because the power is permanently passed from father to son. Monarchy is the same as royalty in this circumstance. There are two types of monarchies, which is constitutional monarchies and absolute monarchies. Constitutional monarchies limit the monarch's power as outlined in the constitution, while absolute monarchies give a monarch unlimited power. Absolute monarchy refers to a type of monarchies in which the king is the sole ruler. A constitutional monarchy, sometimes known as a parliamentary monarchy or a democratic monarchy, is a type of monarchy in which the monarch exercises power in line with a constitution and is not in charge of all decisions.
An absolute monarchy is the type of government that is governed or ruled by a single person or supreme ruler that holds autocratic, absolute power, which is normally known as king or queen. They also have power as both head of state and head of government. This form of government is the oldest between other types of government, with echoes in tribal chief leadership. The government others in absolute monarchy are not legally bound and restricted by a constitution, and the absolute monarchs exercise total power over the land and its subjects. It can only be inherited from their descendants. Besides, the power by the ruler in the absolute monarchy is that as the head of state and head of government, he can quickly order or directly, either spontaneously or plan, and it does not take a long time to be amended. Countries that exercise absolute monarch include Brunei, Saudi Arabia, Swaziland, Kuwait, and others.
There are the list of countries that exercise absolute monarchies. The first one is Brunei. The head of government is Haji Hassanal Bolkiah Muzaidin Walaulah. Second, Swaziland. The head of government is Silvas Dlamini. Third is Oman. The head of government is Sultan Haitham bin Tariq. The fourth is Saudi Arabia. The head of government is Salman bin Abdulaziz bin Abdurrahman. Next is Vatican City. The head of government is Giuseppe Bettelu. The sixth is United Arab Emirates. The head of government is Khalifa bin Zayed Al Nahyan. And the last one is Kuwait. The head of government is Sabah Al Khalid Al Sabah.
The country that practices absolute monarchy is Saudi Arabia, the one example country that is ruled by the dynasty of Saud. Abdulaziz ibn Saud, the founder and first king of Saudi Arabia, took control of the Hijaz in 1924, bringing an end to a battles to consolidate and unite a vast but fragmented territory. Abdulaziz aimed to implement a nation-building process that would accommodate the people's needs and aspirations while evolving alongside with the assessment of what would best serve the nation and its citizens. Focus on transforming a simple administration system into a series of well-defined and well-organized institutions that administered and assisted the executive authority in managing the affairs of a growing territory. With a focus on his people's needs, Abdul Aziz took the first steps toward establishing a governance system and implementing the Islamic-based principle of consultation, as presented by the Al-Quran and authentic Sunnah.
Head of state and head of government. Saudi Arabia is a monarchy ruled by the Saudi royal family. The Saudi royal family has given birth to all Saudi kings since Mohammed bin Saud established the kingdom in 1744. The king of Saudi Arabia is the head of Saudi royal family and has the highest political power in the kingdom. The king is also the head of state and government, with executive, legislative, and judicial power. After ascending the throne, the king recognized his heir, who later became the crown prince. In the case of the death of the king, the crown prince is synonym with the crown. As head of government, the king presides over council of ministers. all of which are appointed by the king, with the most important appointment reserved for his immediate family. The mandate of the Council of Ministers is to implement government policies such as education, health, defense, and foreign affairs. The Advisory Council can be considered a government-like legislative body as it became a member of the International Parliamentary Union in 2003. The second one is power. As one of the world's absolute monarch, Saudi Arabia King utilized enormous power. He served as both the head of state and head of government. The king had supreme authority over virtually every aspect of government. All legislation was enacted by royal decree and ministerial decree, both of which required the king approval. The king appointed all cabinet ministers, other senior government officials, and provincial governor in his capacity as prime minister. The king appointed all military officials above the rank of lieutenant colonel in his capacity as commander-in-chief of the armed force. He also named all of Saudi Arabia ambassador and foreign envoys. The country foreign diplomats were all accredited to the king. Furthermore, the king served as the final court of appeal and utilized the power of foreigners is succession. All king after Ibn Saud that are his son, and all possible direct heir to King Salman are from his lineage. Ibn Saud's son is considered a major claim to the Saudi throne. This clearly distinguishes the Saudi monarchy from Western monarchies, which typically have large, well-defined royal families and succession orders, and use an absolute primogeniture system. Mohammed bin Nayef was Ibn Saud's first grandson before he was removed from the crown prince position by royal decree in 2017.
This slide is about the government in Saudi Arabia. As we all know, Saudi Arabia is an Islamic-based monarchy in a system of government led by a king, who is also the commander-in-chief of the army. In addition, the king appointed a crown prince to help him carry out his duties and responsibilities in the system of government, and at the same time the crown prince was in the second row after the throne. Next, the king also rules with the help of the council of the ministers, also known as the cabinet. There are 22 government ministries that are part of the cabinet. Each ministry specializes in a different part of the government, such as foreign affairs, education, and finance. They say so because no abuse of power and also no seizure of power in a ministry. Therefore, tightness and good system order is very important for a country to ensure the comfort of the people and also facilitate the government to plan and shape the country. Next, Saudi government is since the beginning of the first Saudi state in the 18th century. And the last one is Sharia Islamic law, has been the pillar and source of the basic system of government of Saudi Arabia.
In October 2016, Saudi Arabia executed a member of the Saudi royal family for the first time since 1975. Although the execution decades ago was for assassinating the king, this time the member of the royal family was caught on tape firing an automatic weapon indiscriminately into a crowd of people. This harsh punishment sent waves throughout Saudi Arabia, whose population has long since accepted that the royal family is nigh untouchable. So what exactly is going on with the House of Saud? Well, at the head of the Saud family is King Salman, who holds absolute power over political decisions in the kingdom. Interestingly, succession within the Saud family has been unconventional for monarchs. Although the first king of the modern state of Saudi Arabia, Ibn Saud, was succeeded by his son, the next 5 leaders were all brothers. As a result, the relative age of each king has simply increased, with the current king assuming the role at the age of 79. Saudi royalty is originally descended from the original founder of the first Saudi state, Muhammad ibn Saud. There are actually estimated to be about 15,000 living members of the Saudi royal family, stemming from the incredible prolific Ibn Saud, who reportedly had 22 wives and used his marriages to solidify connections with other externally powerful families. But not all 15,000 members are wealthy or powerful, and in fact, true power is consolidated among roughly 2,000 members. These family members fill a number of roles throughout the government, and they are appointed by the king. In particular, the Ministries of Defense, Interior, and Foreign Affairs are kept close in the family, as are the governors of the country's 13 provinces. Although it is impossible to accurately estimate due to the large number of family members, some unofficial estimates peg the total worth of the House of Saud in the trillions of dollars. But this is likely not far off, considering that the country itself has a GDP of about $650 billion, which is effectively controlled by the Saudi family, along with massive private real estate and oil investments around the world. It's also important to note that Saudi Arabia is actually controlled by two separate families. Besides the House of Saud, there is also the Al-Sheikh family, who descended from the founder of Wahhabism, Saudi Arabia's ultra-conservative state religion. Although the two families work together, they each operate independent sections of the Saudi society, with the Al-Sheikhs primarily controlling religion and the House of Saud controlling politics. The Saudi royal family is enormous and powerful, but not every member is treated like royalty, as is evident by the 2016 execution. Yet most sources alleged that the executed family member was several steps removed from the inner royal circle. And in the meantime, a large number of the higher-ranking Sauds openly skirt both the country's legal system and Sharia law itself, frequently throwing parties featuring drinking, drugs, and sex. Although tacitly approved to lead by the country's population, in recent years there has been significant discontent in the authoritarian ultra-conservative kingdom, especially in light of events like the Arab Spring. This execution is seen by many as a tightening of the belt by the royal family to show that not even they are above the law.
So this slide is about the ministry in Saudi Arabia. The first one is the Council of Ministers, should have the power to set internal, foreign, financial, economic, educational and defense policy, as well as the general affairs of the state, and should oversee its implementation on the responsibilities of each exciting ministry. Next, the Deputy Prime Minister and member of the Council of the Ministers shall be appointed by the King, and then the King has the right and responsibilities in dissolving and reconstituting the Council of Ministers. Then the person who are holding a position in the ministry must be a Saudi citizen by descent and upbringing and known as an honest and efficient person. Then the term of the Council of Ministers shall not exceed 4 years. Then since 2015, there have been 23 ministers with portfolio and 7 state ministers, 2 of whom have specialized responsibilities. And the last one, the Council of Ministers, was established by the King Abdulaziz in 1953.
In Saudi Arabia, the king has the authority to appoint and dismiss members of the council. A legislative body, or known as the Consultative Council, also advises the king. The king appoints a crown prince to assist him in carrying out his duties. Based on the law of Consultative Council of Majlis Ashura in Article 10 states that the President, Vice President and Secretary General of Majlis Ashura were appointed and dismissed by the royal decree. It is made out of 150 members appointed by the king for 4 years, terms that can be extended. The Council of Ministers, also known as the Cabinet, assists the king in governing. The Cabinet is composed of 22 government ministries. Thus, every member of the Council of Ministers stipulated should be a Saudi national by birth and descent, a person known for honesty and ability, reputed for good deeds, that have never been convicted of immoral or disgraceful crimes. For termination, anyone who has a bad reputation and behaves has been convicted of a crime of immorality or contempt. A person notorious for fraud and dishonesty is also incompetent.
Okay, then let me go through to the function of ministry. Example is Ministry of Hajj and Umrah, responsible and has the right to address the issue of Hajj and Umrah in the Saudi Arabian government. Then ministry guarantee the arrival and departure of pilgrims, and visitors safely arrive in Saudi Arabia to perform Hajj and Umrah.
Two Saudi officials in the Saudi National Committee for Hajj and Umrah revealed the date for announcing the details of the Hajj season and the number of pilgrims inside and outside for 2022. This came after Saudi websites and groups of Egyptian and Saudi tourism companies working in Hajj and Umrah circulated news indicating that the percentage of domestic pilgrims during the new season was 100%, while the pilgrims abroad were still between 50% or more, in addition to a statement attributed to the official spokesperson of the Ministry of Hajj and Umrah that this year's Hajj will be in large numbers. Sheikh Saad bin Jamil Al Quraishi, advisor to the National Committee for Hajj and Umrah in Saudi Arabia, confirmed that the next few days will witness developments and the announcement of new details regarding this year's Hajj season. An advisor to the National Committee for Hajj and Umrah in Saudi Arabia said, "We expect to announce the details of the Hajj season soon, God willing, and so far no official statements have been issued in this regard." For his part, Saad Pashwan, a member of the National Committee for Saudi Hajj and Umrah activities, said that the announcement of the details of the Hajj season during the new season will be at the Hajj and Umrah Forum in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia on March the 21st, God willing. The Saudi Ministry of Interior had announced the lifting of precautionary and preventive measures related to combating the corona pandemic as of March the 5th.
And then the next example is Ministry of Education. It is responsible for education in Saudi Arabia and then focus on the education sector only and has the right to organize and plan in the education sector to be more advanced. Furthermore, it is responsible in addressing all problems and finding solutions in people's education activities at both high and low level. Example is Ministry for Foreign Affairs. It is responsible for Saudi Arabia foreign diplomacy with other countries.
First, the launching of national program called Katra, which is translated to English means drip. The program is one of several initiatives launched by the Ministry of Environment, Water and Agriculture with the goal of reducing water consumption by 43% to 150 liters per capita per day by 2030. In terms of per capita water consumption, Saudi Arabia lags behind the United States and Canada. The Katra water saving program is an important effort to conserve this Gulf country water supply.
The technique of removing excess salts from seawater is crucial in making it safe and usable. But this process of water desalination is also energy intensive. Saudi Arabia is the world's largest producer of desalinated water, where researchers have patented several technologies to extract minerals from water while protecting marine ecosystems from wastewater. In our next report, we take you inside the world's biggest water desalination facility.
This is the Jubail water desalination plant in Saudi Arabia. This massive facility carries the tag of being the world's largest. It makes more than 1.4 million cubic meters of water daily.
We're standing by the Arabian Gulf, and here the salt water enters the stations of the Jubail water desalination plant, producing 1.4 million cubic meters of water per day, benefiting the people of Jubail as well as more than 7 million people in Riyadh.
So what is water desalination? It is a fact that there is a severe shortage of safe drinking water in many countries. And desalination of seawater is a process which makes it safe for use and further consumption. In this process, excess water is removed from seawater or brackish water. Essentially, the Jubail plant in Saudi Arabia extracts useful minerals from the seawater. But there is a catch. The highly salty wastewater, known as brine, flows back into the sea, and that can affect marine ecosystems. A 2019 United Nations global study found that the world's 16,000 or so plants produced an average of 1.5 liters of brine for every liter of fresh water. Saudi Arabia is the world's largest producer of this wastewater at 22%. And that is why Saudi Arabia's Jubail plant aims to reduce the amount of concentrated brine, all the while extracting industrially useful minerals such as sodium chloride salt and magnesium and calcium. The researchers have filed for patents for technologies to treat the wastewater before it flows back into the Arabian Gulf.
We are standing here at outfall channel, which is content of all the reject water from all the plant. Before we send it back to the sea, these waters go through treated process. We make treatment for this water to be within the standard limit of the environment and safety.
The water enters through the heat rejection.
Seawater can be desalinated to extract precious minerals. However, the process itself is expensive and energy intensive. But in a hot, water-scarce country like Saudi Arabia, desalination is a crucial lifeline.
Secondly, the issue is the right of women and girls. Council of Ministers approved historic amendment. The change to the travel documents law allowed anyone holding Saudi nationality to obtain a passport, allowing women over 21 years old to obtain their own passport for the first time without the permission of their male guardian. Saudi Arabia authorities announced additional change to regulation, allowing women over the age of 21 years old to travel freely abroad without the permission of a male guardian.
The conclusion. In sum, Saudi Arabia holds an exceptional position in the Middle East. Its economy is heavily oil-based and the government has a dominant control on all significant economic activities. The country is divided into 13 provinces, each with a governor and a vice-governor. Each province has its own committee that advise the governor and handle development in the province. Since Saudi Arabia is an Islamic country, its legal system is based on Sharia. The king is the leader of the legal system. As the final court of appeal, he can be pardoned. The kingdom also has court. The largest is a Sharia court, which hears most cases in the Saudi legal system. The kingdom plays the crucial roles as an peacemaker in the Arab region and is an ally of the United States. Its preeminence among the Gulf, Arab and Islamic countries means that it is a leader in the area.